I've got Frank's my mate from Dagenham.
It's he who's calling in for the question from the dugout in the second.
But to have the final say on West Ham, we are still looking up. I think the Everton game will be a big challenge actually, because will we start to falter or will we really take it upon them? And the thing I like about West Ham, right from the kick-off to the 90th minute, we're looking to score goals, we're attack. We're not worried about our defence. And I think from previous history, Manuel Pellegrini does that in a lot of his teams. Can be a strength and can be a weakness because you leave yourself open at the back, but high hopes for the Hammers.
Yeah, and there you have it then, listeners. We have gone through all of the trials and tribulations of last week. We've seen a number of shocks, a number of surprises. Liverpool's continuing streak goes on. 5 of the last 5 won. 8 and 8. Is it coming to an end soon? I hope
17
so.
records could be broken.
I hate to hear this. I hate to hear this.
In 2 weeks, I hear.
Come on, the Devils. Listeners, that's it for part 1. Join us for part 2, where we'll have a rambling from the dugout and look ahead at all of next week's fixtures. Welcome back to Left Back in the Changing Room.
Hey.
Hello listeners, we are back. We are ready and raring to go for part 2. We've got a rambling from the dugout that's about to come in. But before that, we've been promising you guys this all series long. We're finally there. We are on Twitter. We're there.
Hey.
Thank you, gents. You can now get in touch with us at LeftBackFPL. That's it. That's the handle. It's LeftBackFPL. On Twitter, if you want to send us an email, leftinthechangingroom@gmail.com. There's ways to get in touch. We do take ramblings from the dugout from Twitter or from Gmail, so please do give us a holler, like our man Troy from Idaho did. And we're going to go over to Troy now to get his rambling from the dugout. Troy, take it away.
Hey guys, this is Troy. I love the show. I just want to say I've got 2 transfers coming up, and what do I do? With the goalkeeper crisis, there's a couple of keepers that are injured. I got a low-cost keeper in. You guys, I really need your help.
So the keeper's an interesting one. I mean, the most expensive keeper out there, you've got Santana de Marias, obviously Man City, it's 6.1 million. You've got some value out there as well. The lowest keeper will be the lowest price position on the game. 4 million is the lower limit there.
Yeah, who's that? So now Ederson, mate. 6.1, the Man City guy. Who did you call him?
Santander, that's a bank.
That's what he calls it.
Lloyd's is pretty pricey, but Santander.
That's what he calls it.
Halifax is having a blinder.
The permanent keeper, mate.
Barclay's doing alright, isn't he?
HSBC.
Ederson Santana de Mores.
So who's the top goalkeeper then? Patricio for Wolves?
Yeah,
Is that right?
38 points. Yeah,
I
it's
thought
crazy,
Wolves
isn't
were
it?
doing shocking up until now, though.
He has saved a penalty though, old Patricio, and he's had 3 clean sheets last 2 games.
And then Ryan at Brighton, and then Henderson at Sheffield United. So those 3 teams, you'd think they'd be in the bottom half, but it just shows you it's the keepers with the most action that seem to get the points, right?
Well, that's it, exactly. Yeah. You've got to think about penalty saves, overall saves per game. You know, if the defence is a little bit ropey and actually there's a heavy reliance on the keeper, and you've got a half-decent keeper, then irrespective of the goals that they're conceding, the amount of saves that they're actually kind of, committing to and performing in the game, they can actually score you points. And Sean, the John McGinn fanboy, even spoke about that earlier in part 1.
Wolves do have 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games though, so they've turned the corner slightly, which is interesting. I think just to decipher and depict what Troy from Idaho was saying there in his question, he's basically asked us listeners that is it worth getting a highly priced goalkeeper or going for a cheaper one? One highly priced or 2 cheapos. You're going to have to get 1 cheapo anyway to free up a bit of money to fund the rest of your team. So, looking at it, Patricio's 5.1, he's a bit more than, others. I've personally got 2 goalkeepers that are both 4.5. So I've gone for Gunn from Southampton.
Yep.
Not a great decision. And then Adrian from Liverpool.
For me, my strategy is to go cheap, and any points that a goalkeeper picks up is really just bonus points.
A bonus point.
I don't see them there seeking a lot of points. Dubravka, I kind of stuck with the last few weeks. I actually think Newcastle were not last week a bit of a doing, but when they kind of gave up. But I kind of think that he's solid at the back. I'll keep him there. I believe he's 4.5 million.
It's like you're better off going with a team down the bottom with a good keeper who's going to make a lot of saves just to get those bonus points and potentially save a penalty as well, right? And you hit the nail on the head, really, because that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about 2 years ago, De Gea was the top scoring goalkeeper. Last season, I think it was Alisson, and Ederson was just closely behind. So this is probably the year, because there's not many clean sheets. With VAR giving away, obviously, a lot of penalties as we're seeing at the moment is the trend. It's
the
probably the
maximum
year.
clean sheets is 3 so far this season.
Well, there you go.
And there's quite a few people
tons.
that have that. Patricio, Matt Ryan, Dean Henderson, Nick Pope.
To be honest, they've all got similar points, right? I mean, no goalkeeper's really
Exactly
long way ahead. One thing I would say, Alisson, he's down at 5.8 and he started at 6 million and he's coming back. And I know you've said that no one's keeping clean sheets. For me, if anyone's going to keep clean sheets, it's going to be Liverpool.
When Alisson comes back.
When he comes back.
Yeah.
And I do think that, to me, it's a toss-up between either him or a cheaper goalkeeper. And Henderson at Sheffield United, he's in there with 4.5 million. He's the third best at the moment, 33 points. Pope is fourth, 32 points. But when you just look at all of these goalkeepers, I mean, Patricio, 20 saves, Ryan 24 saves, and this is since the start of the season. Henderson 23 saves, Pope 26 saves. They're all pretty much similar.
Actually,
they're going to be the
there's no
same.
stand out.
And the one point I want to say is that at some point in your season, you're going to want to play your bench boost, and to have a keeper that is good point that play, but then also are either getting saves through, whether it's penalty saves, whether it's kind of just a sheer amount of saves. For example, previous game week with Pope and Ryan, each kind of got 7 points. If you paid your bench boost, that's great to have. 7 points is a massive difference between how you do in the league. So,
does anyone know who the Spurs backup keeper is?
It's that Gazaniga guy who came on, isn't it? And
he's 4.4. He's 4.4 million, but that could be a sneaky little shout because he's below that 4.5 million mark, if you know what I mean. So you don't have to necessarily. You can easily swap him in.
On that.
Is what I'm saying.
More stats for your goalkeepers. The most saves is actually Leno for Arsenal, followed by with 34, followed by Lloris at 30.
Because they both had terrible defences.
Most points is Patricio actually saved with 38. Then you've got Matt Ryan 35, Dean Henderson 33. So, but everyone, to be honest, everyone that's starting is up above 16 points in terms of keeper. So 16 to 38, you're not going to generate that much extra points. The costs range from 6.1 million with Ederson to 4 million, where you've got a handful of people. So really, the difference in price range is not translating to difference in points when it comes to keepers. It's a bit of a hit and miss.
So
play your games wise and choose your matches wisely.
So if you're trying to save some money, then to answer Troy's question, then finally, goalkeeper is a good place to save money, or is it a better place to save money by sacrificing one midfielder, perhaps get a defensive midfielder in, or Todd Cantwell? What do you guys think? Would you rather sacrifice money on cheaper keeper or one cheaper midfielder?
Me personally, just to kick it off, I guess the circle back is really that if we're going to choose positions right now, I just think, talking about the clean sheets, the lack of clean sheets, I think sacrifice defenders at the moment, because I don't see a lot of high scoring defenders that we had last season. We don't have the likes of Man City keeping massive clean sheets. Until Alisson is back, then maybe I'll consider a double up on Liverpool. But yes, goalkeeper low cost, and I think defender low cost as well.
But there's actually a time to make a sub for a keeper. I actually just completely remembered something. I was watching the match on Saturday at Anfield, and I saw Schmeichel make an amazing save.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and he was 5 million, and I looked at my team, and I thought, Dubravka's 5 million. And I actually transferred him in right there and then. So my transfer this week, I brought in Schmeichel. I
like
just
that.
like.
So you've
I
done
saw
it.
based on instinct. So yeah, I didn't make this up.
That was an instinctive move because he's only got 28 points and Dubravka's got 29. That was a bad one.
But
mate.
you see Leicester getting more clean sheets than Newcastle, right?
Well,
yes or no?
They've definitely
Coming up.
improved defensively, which is
I
an
mean,
interesting one.
I think that geezer at the back. What's his name? The geezer you've got, Sujovic, or what is it? Yeah.
Sionku.
Leicester playing Burnley next.
they've had 2 clean sheets all season.
Yeah,
Leicester.
but they're playing Burnley next
Fair
week,
enough.
followed by
Newcastle have had
followed
3.
by Southampton, who are not scoring a lot. And then you've got Crystal Palace the week after.
So ultimately, Troy, it was a great question, and thank you very much for that question.
Yes, thank you, Troy.
It's created
We
a lot
love
of
it.
debate, and Jimmy, take us on to the next.
Yeah, always nice to get a question from America and our fans over here, so thank you, Troy. People, do remember, if you want to get in touch, leftinthechangingroom@gmail.com or at leftbackfpl on Twitter, and that's how you can get your question on the show next week. As you say, Ricky Pellegrini, we're moving on then. We're looking ahead to next week's games. We'll then go into captain choices. But for next week, I say next week, it is a fantasy Premier League international break this weekend. So it is the weekend after that we're talking about. That is Saturday the 19th of October. The first games will kick off. And it will kick off with Everton against your boys, Ricky.
Hammer.
West Ham United.
Yeah, this is. I kind of touched it on this part 1. I think it's going to be an interesting game because Everton are struggling. Marco Silva's under a lot of pressure. They're in the relegation zone. Could you imagine Everton 8-9 weeks in the relegation zone? I think if West Ham beat Everton, then I think he's going to get the sack. Right. So flip that around. I think Sigurdsson's still a good player. Richarlison's still a good player. They're still got goals in them. I think Iwobi, as Jimmy Ferguson had brought up a couple of weeks ago, has still got goals in them.
But he's not really doing it.
They're not really doing it. I see Digne on the left wing. He's the only one who seems to be kind of consistent for Everton. They played well against Man City, but then look at Man City. They lost against Wolves, so it's a big toss up. I think again, West Ham away from home, we've been a lot more solid. We seem to be more consistent, every game this season. I would love to see us win, but I think this could be another kind of 1-1 or an Everton win, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, I actually feel that Everton are going to struggle again. They are at home. They're better at home than they are away. Haller, I reckon he's looking all right. I think West Ham are going to be annoyed that they lost that last game.
Yeah.
As I said earlier in the show, Everton have lost their last 4 games. Now, that's a nasty streak. They've got to switch that round. I don't see him beating West Ham. I don't see this being a great game, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be really quite a
Bit of a sluggish game.
Yeah, I think Haller the Hammer for me is the boy in here. He's going to get the points.
We actually
MVP,
beat them.
Anything for you on this game? Or sorry, Ricky Pellegrini, you
No.
beat them last time.
No, I was going to say we actually beat them last year at their ground, Goodison Park. But we had a terrible record against them. The few years before that, it wasn't until 2016 we had beat them. Before that, so last year we beat them. Yarmolenko actually got a double last season, and Arnautovic was on the score sheet, but we had a blinder against them. So it'll be interesting. I'm always cautious, us away from home, but looking at the fact that we have the best squad we've had in the last, I would say, 5 or 6 years, I fancy our chance.
And a double from Yarmolenko last year then, so he likes playing Everton.
He likes playing
he's
Everton.
in form still, I'd say. Worth it.
So yeah, MVD, what do you think about your fellow Scousers across the way, Evertonians? What do you think about their situation, especially against West Ham?
Must be enjoying that, aren't you?
It's music to my ears, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, I think, as you said, Ricky Pellegrini, in terms of the manager, I think the next game is going to be very telling, especially because it's a home game, I believe. At the same time, I think kind of if there's going to be a standout player, as you rightly called out, I think Sigurdsson is going to be that standout player. He does create chances. He whether it's assists or actually kind of him cropping up with a goal, he's going to be your standout performer. Yeah. To be honest, from the Everton perspective, but I think kind of in the form that West Ham are in, I think it's going to be quite a cagey affair, and I think Everton will concede. So it is going to be difficult, but.
I can't believe looking at the form guide, actually. I'm actually quite shocked. I know Everton are not doing very well. Can you believe they lost to Bournemouth, they lost to Sheffield United, they lost to Man City, and then they lost to Burnley? 4 losses in a row.
Yeah.
Their kick-off game against Wolves. Sorry, the last time they won was against Wolves 3-2. Obviously, Wolves have turned it around since then. That was at home for Everton. So, this is a hard one to call because they've got to be a win coming from somewhere for Everton because it's kind of hard.
They're in a rut, mate. They're in a really bad rut. I don't see them coming out of it. When I look at the forwards on their side, they've got Calvert-Lewin, Moise Keane and Toussaint.
He hasn't proved himself.
And Calvert-Lewin, he's got 20 points. Haller's got 37. If this game, it just shows you, just looking at that. The forward that is going to get the points in this game is Haller.
Haller the Hammer.
I'm putting my money behind him. If you want to get someone, it's going to be Haller.